Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears to things that are taking place throughout our cities, states, country, and sometimes our world, where we try to utilize our 5 senses that God has given us to navigate through this wonderful, beautiful, sometimes crazy world we live in. And this is another story about a teacher and a student, unfortunately, and it's straight out of Florida, Fort Myers, Florida. Florida teacher Miss Lauren King, 32 years old, facing charges, told teens she did sexual activities with other students, cops say. A teacher in Florida has been behind bars for more than a week after being accused of having inappropriate relations with a student in her car in the parking lot of the student's grandmother's apartment complex. A 17-year-old witness tipped off Fort Myers police on Sunday, March 3rd, and wanted to provide a statement according to the arrest affidavit. Then the alleged victim, whose age is not being disclosed, reportedly told an investigator that a few months ago, he had given his teacher, later identified as Miss Lauren King, his phone number. King contacted the victim on a regular basis and the conversation started friendly. The victim mentioned he had been wanting a new hoodie and informed King of it. King advised she would give it to him as the victim could not afford it. The victim stated King called him and said she could meet him in the parking lot of his grandmother's apartment complex located at a particular address. The victim met King and entered her vehicle. She then began to, and the document describes her providing oral on him. And in the back seat, then they had intercourse. The report continued. King then tells the victim not to tell anyone what happened and bribes him with cash and headphones. The victim advised that he felt as though he had done something wrong and was uncomfortable with the whole ordeal. He then stopped texting King for a couple of days, but she persisted in trying to contact him and the conversation continued. King mentioned romantic feelings to the victim, telling him that she loved him. The victim was not prepared for this and attempted again to minimize their relationship and stop. King then attempted to give the victim King then attempted to get the victim to be jealous and told him that she was doing other essay activities with other students. At this point, the investigator wrote, no follow-up questions were asked as it became clear that a criminal offense was being alleged, and there are restrictions on interviewing regarding juveniles involved in crimes. But his mother gave a statement saying she found out about the incident that day due to the teenage witness who she referred to as a mentor mentioning it to her, the mother. The mother spoke with her son, who confessed he had a sexual relationship with his teacher. The mother stated the victim began to get emotionally distraught. Finally, that teenage mentor told authorities he had taken the victim to church with him, and then after, they went to the Waffle House. While sitting down, he sees a 407 area code number repeatedly calling the victim's cell phone. The witness then asks the victim who is calling his phone, and he replies, "My teacher." The witness suspects something is amiss and presses the victim to disclose the nature of these phone calls. The victim then tells the witness he and the teacher had intercourse. The witness pays for their food and walks out. Shortly after, the victim received another phone call, and the witness answered the phone and told the teacher, "Leave him alone. I've found out everything that you do." The witness stated the victim showed him text messages from the teacher and himself, as it was determined he is not the only minor, and that she bribed other children so they wouldn't tell anyone. So she has more than just this one victim, the teacher. The report then details the victim's conversation with someone from the Child Advocacy Center. The victim advised that he initially lied to police about having worn a condom during the incident because he was scared. Finally, they went into some 4,000 text messages between the two over a month. The teacher texts back and forth with this high school student over 4,000 times in a month. The report also says King sent the victim $230 over 3 transactions via Cash App, plus an iPhone, a pair of Beats headphones, and a Dell computer. She bought all that for the victim. It wasn't until Thursday, March 7th, that officers from the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force located King leaving the parking lot of an apartment complex. They arrested her on a warrant and took her to the Lee County Jail. King, 32, was charged with lewd or lascivious battery on a victim 12 to 16 and molestation on a victim 12 to 16. Her bond was set at $350,000, and she has not been released from jail. How many of these stories are we going to hear about with these what I consider young female teachers in their 20s and early 30s that are victimizing these middle school and high school kids? I don't know if this is some kind of trend that's taking place, but there are stories that are coming out almost every other day. I don't know how you vet your teachers to make sure that this does not occur. There's no absolute stop point for it. It's awfully peculiar that these female teachers can go to college, get a teaching certificate. Evidently, they have a brain to pass the exams and the state exams and get certified. And then at some point in their 20s or their early 30s or what have you, even 40, they decide that they want to have an inappropriate relation with a middle school or teenage kid. But we're seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot of this on national news media outlets and social media outlets. And this needs to stop. I don't know if there's a better vetting mechanism or what. Should there be an age description or requirement? Because I'm seeing a higher propensity of females in their 20s and 30s that are doing this. Mental illness is real. You're finding that sometimes many of these teachers are even married and may even have children. And they find some kind of connection, emotional connection and physical connection with these teenage students. And you're seeing a lot of it. There's going to be a lot of teachers, especially female teachers, that are going to be going to prison. Her bond being set at $300,000 is a very high bond that should let her know that the state of Florida is very serious about this crime. And we got to find as a society some kind of way to curb this indiscriminate sexual misconduct with middle school and teenage kids. The old stereotype was that you would hear men do this with teenage girls, but I'm seeing a lot of stories where female teachers are having these inappropriate relationships with teenage boys and students. And I'm only shedding light on it. We need to get it to stop. Our teachers are leaders, they're mentors, they're not paid enough. But them ending up in these situations where they are having these inappropriate relationships is not a good idea.